Hey guys, this is Three-Time Rail Fan here, and I am here to bring you some liveries or paint schemes that I've made from Train Sim 2's livery designer. Now, I am currently still in the process of uploading those Railfan videos that I had from 2021, and of course now we're in the new year, so I'd like to say also a Merry Christmas, and I hope all y'all's Christmas went well, and a Happy New Year, and I wish everyone a happy and healthy New Year, 2022. Yes, we're finally in the new year. um, in the meantime, while I'm uploading those videos I still have from 2021, I'm going to be just showing y'all what I made in the video game Train Sim 2. So to start off, I have here, I made a classic Southern Pacific AC 4400 CW. Now, I know it is kind of messed up. I don't know actually, I can't remember what happened, but it has to deal with like the projection settings, and I tried my best, but here it is in black background, just a little 360. And the way I do this is basically I just look up Google Images of locomotives that I want to make in the game, and I just look at the image and try to replicate it as close as possible to how it is or how it was in the real world. So here is the Southern Pacific AC 4400 CW, and all my logos are zeros. Like, the road numbers are all just zeros. And yeah, let's move on to the next. Alright, so this next one that I made is the CSX SD40-2. And again, all my road numbers on these locomotives are zeros. So this is my CSX SD40-2 version. There is a route add-on or DLC called King Creek, and this is the King Creek SD40-2. And if you play this game, you'll notice that the headlight is on the top rather than it being on the nose. That's basically the only difference you would see. This is the older version, because you got the K5LA back there, and they had just released Sherman Hill, so this is the old version, and they had remade the SD40-2 again for Sherman Hill. And here it is, the CSX SD40-2. Alright, this next one I recreated, is the Rio Grande SD40-2. Now, I know Rio Grande did not have really any SD40s. They had SD40Ts, SD45T-2s, but of course I didn't really see them having SD40-2s, but of course we don't have the SD40T in the game yet, but hopefully in the future we'll be able to have the locomotive for a certain route. But here it is recreated. Here's Rio Grande SD40-2 recreated in the game. I had recently seen a YouTube video where there was one where it had the headlight, the gyro light, which was located on the nose, and the ditch lights. And that one was Rio Grande SD40T-2 5404, because I had seen it in a different YouTube video by someone. But here is Rio Grande recreated in Train Sim World 2 in a SD40-2. One of my custom liveries I've made. It's in UP's fashion, still Rio Grande. This is a UP Rio Grande SD40-2. So what they would do is take out or cover up the gyro light, and they would leave the headlight and the ditch lights and cover up the marker lights, as of course railroads at this time wouldn't be using them. Well, on some railroads I'll say, and they would patch up the road number and put it in their yellow and red colors that I've illustrated right there or made. And here I have made the Rio Grande color letters a little bit lighter, as on some of them in the real world I would see they start to fade and they would be out of color. And I did this for both sides. And I did not actually put the UP the UP logo. I just created it as this, as if it's in UP's fashion. And here it is in black theme. I didn't do anything to the back. The back is just completely the same. And so here is what it would kind of look like. Not totally in my version, but this is what it would kind of look like if it was in UP's roster. So the next livery I made was from a Class 3 railroad, a very known railroad. It's the Utah Railway that operates in the Colorado area still to this day. They've had a long history of coal hauling. So this is what they look like. Got the name on the front and on the sides. Here's what it looks like in black. They do have the red nose just like Southern Pacific. I like a lot. And this is the Utah Railway SD40-2. Alright, so now we're moving on to the GP38-2, and I tried my best with this Chessie livery, the B&O. I created the C&O, the Western Maryland, and the CSXT. I'll show you the CSXT version as well. So this is the B&O version, and had a little idea of putting the original headlight at the top. That's a fake headlight. It's not real, as you can tell from the sides. It doesn't poke out, so it's not real. The headlight's right here. So this is my version. Of course, you would have Chessie the cat on the front and on the sides. But yeah, this is my version of Chessie's B&O GP38-2. And then here is the CSXT version. Of course, they would just pretty much patch up where it said the B&O, the C&O, the Western Maryland, and cover it up with CSXT. Also, they would change the road number as well, but I decided not to do that for this version and just patch it up with CSXT. They wouldn't really make a change from what I see from images of the locomotives in real life. And there you have it for the CSXT version. And then I went on to make a Conrail GP38-2. So this is my Conrail version. Again, well, here it is also in black as well. I wanted to be a little bit more detailed on the locomotive, and of course included the marker lights as if they were attached to the locomotive and working. Also the headlight being on the top of the cab next to the road number lights, and painting the rails. And I did a lot of work on the logo as well to make it as close as possible. Get another 360. And there is Conrail. And then here is an ex-Conrail version. So basically I patched it up like as if they do in real life, made the color, just the colors black, just added the colors black and white like what NS has, and I used some shapes like some squares, then fading, and made the color brown to make it look like there was a lot of rust on the locomotive. I labeled it as NS, covering up the Conrail name but leaving the logo. Here it is in white. And there you have it. Now this is a little customization paint scheme or livery that I've made personally. This is not one of Union Pacific's real world paint schemes or liveries. This is just basically my representation of a yard SD40 that I had seen a couple of times at a yard that they're at, and of course it would show UPY on the side for Union Pacific Yard. I'm assuming that's the only other thing I can think of why they labeled them that way. And I made the top of the road number lights black, and then the headlight, where the headlight is black all around. Yeah, this is just a little representation. Well, my version. But yeah, again, this is just made up. This is not one of the real world paint schemes. Some warning signs on the side, and got myself a little livery. Oh yes, I almost forgot. This is the Sherman Hill SD40 version. Now this is the one that they had recently remade. I could also tell because they had moved the K3LA to the front instead of the K5LA like being towards the back here, like in this spot. But yeah, this is the Sherman Hill version. Alright, moving on to the Caboose. This is the Quinchfield Railroad Caboose. I had made the Chessie system B&O, the C&O, and the Western Maryland livery. This is the Western Maryland livery, the WM steel cupola caboose, and this is again the Quinchfield Railroad steel cupola caboose, CRR caboose, and it's just a little something I wanted to make. Once again, I made the B&O and the C&O version as well, but here is the Western Maryland version, Chessie system. And here is another custom livery I made. This is with the Quinchfield Railroad double door box car. Now this is fake. It's a TLFC piggyback car and some trailers painted on the side of the boxcar. Now again, this is the boxcar. These aren't actually trailers. And the bottom of the boxcar acts as the flat car or the piggyback car for the trailers. Put some trailer designs on the back as well. And it's just UFC on the side. Trailer on flat car. And there you have that. Alright, so this is the Amtrak Acela business car that I have from the DLC Train 712's Northeast Corridor Boston Sprinter, or the Boston to Providence route. This is what the Amtrak Acela version looks like. Of course, we don't have the Acela in the game. But here is the paint scheme or livery that I made. And I also have a Acela ACS64 that I custom made. And I'm going to show you that next. And here's the Acela ACS64. Now this again is custom made. They do not have an Acela ACS64 in real life, but this is just my custom made livery or paint scheme. And this is supposed to be the logo, but I decided to do something different. Of course, it would show Amtrak on the side. And here is the Acela ACS64 that I custom made. Alright, so this is the Queensfield Railroad F7A unit, and this is the WestRail 642 livery and paint scheme from the movie Atomic Train. This was the lead locomotive in the movie. This is not the actual locomotive from the movie. The actual locomotive is a MLW M420. I believe that's how you pronounced it. Yeah, I think so, an MLW M420, but this is the F7, so this is like a close representation of it from the movie, from what I think. 642. Added some stripes on the front. And here it is. Oh yeah, and I haven't made 644 yet. That was the trailing locomotive behind 642. But I'll be making that in the livery editor, or livery designer very, very soon. Back once again with another SD40. This is the Queensfield Railroad SD40, and basically I had made all 4 paint schemes and liveries, so the BNO, the CNO, the CSXT, and the Western Maryland unit for this locomotive. Here is the CNO version. Just a little quick peek at this. And this is what it looks like in black. And here is the CTC3 or CTC-3 Cab Car, along with the MBTA train sets. But this time, I have represented Amtrak's old 1980s Metroliner Cab Car, and when they had their Phase 3 paint scheme or livery. You can also tell because they had the yellow and black stripes at the front, pretty much in front of the engineer's cab. And here it is in the black background. Basically just looking at images of the thing in real life and trying to get it as close as possible. And there is good old Amtrak for you. Alright, back again with some more Boston and Providence cars. This is with the MBTA train set, the BTC 3 car. This is the non-drivable car. It's just a passenger car, of course. And I made it in the style of Amtrak's AM fleet. This is basically what it used to look like back in the 80s for an AM fleet. And of course, this is not an AM fleet. This is one of MBTA's cars. And here it is in the white background. I have the Amtrak logo and car number, of course, on the sides. And that is that. There is another paint scheme and livery with the same Boston Providence MBTA, one of MBTA's passenger cars. This is Via or Via Rail, one of their cars. Via Rail or Via Rail. I've got Canada on the bottom. Try to make it as close as possible to the real world. And then I had also made an 80s Amtrak F40PH and Via or Via Rail F40PH as well. And I'm going to show you that next. And here is an 80s Amtrak F40PH. This is from Boston Sprinter again. This is MBTA's F40PH-3C locomotive in 80s Amtrak livery. Their Phase 3 paint scheme and livery. Of course, again, I try to make it as close as possible to the real world. This is what it looks like in the black background. The number and the name on the sides. And the black is actually kind of slanted. That's what I also noticed. And three numbers on the top. And there is the 80s Amtrak F40PH. And then here is the Via or Via Rail F40PH. Now, I really tried my best with their yellow stripes on the side. Now, I know that there's more on them on the real world paint scheme, but I tried my best on it. Labeled it. Got the Via Rail or Via Rail Canada along with the yellow stripe. Via Rail Canada. I don't know what this is, what they have on the real world locomotive, but I think it's like a removed light replaced by a marker light. Please let me know what that is, because they have it on the real world F40PH. And again, I added some numbers on the top of on the road number lights, and some safety signs. And I have one more after this. Last but not least, best for last, this is the Sherman Hill, the UP Sherman Hill SD70 ACE locomotive from Sherman Hill, Cheyenne to Laramie. And I remade Canadian National's paint scheme on the SD70 ACE. Now, of course, I tried my best by connecting them together. The C is slightly larger than the N. Here it is in the white background. I mean, sorry, black background. And now here is the white background. Added the little sign like they have on the real world locomotive. And that is it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and let me know what your favorite one was. And once again, I hope you all had a happy holidays and a happy new year 2022. Lastly but not least, I'm gonna give you guys a little sneak peek on what one of my next liveries will be. See if you can guess what it will be, and let me know what you think it'll be. I'll catch you guys later.